Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hi, everybody at Combat Sports UK. Taylor Collard's here, and I'm sitting with Stuart Austin. Got a fight coming up at Oktagon MMA. Stuart, how are you doing today?
How's it going, Taylor? I'm good, thank you. Nice to be on.
Fantastic, very good. Have you just finished up training? How's your day been today?
Training a little bit earlier. I was about 1:30 till 3. And then I'll be going to the gym tonight as well. But just sort of tapering it down now, last couple of weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, the temptation, a lot of people go crazy hard around now, and I think you kind of like, you've done your work. Most of it's finished by now, just sort of cruising in, healing up, like all the fatigue, getting rid of that. So yeah, feeling good.
Yeah, so for you, kind of across your career, has there been a kind of 2-week, 10-day out from fight camp build-up, traditional routine that you go through? Or have you taken it camp by camp?
I feel like lots of people. Well, I've kind of done lots of different things. I've had lots of fights. Especially, I think as a heavyweight, when you're not making weight, often the temptation. Well, some of the guys are going to keep training fairly hard, which is fine. But it just makes sense to just to cut things down, taper down for the fight. It just makes sense to recover and be ready, be a little bit fresher. That's all.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I'm excited. So I did my last kind of move around spar today, not a particularly hard one. And yeah, ready for fight week.
Awesome. So you're heading out to Bratislava, Slovakia. Is that somewhere you've been before, or is it a new one to tick on the list?
Honestly, I can't remember. When I was one of my last judo competitions was either in Slovakia or Slovenia. So yeah, it was in one of those. So I may or may not have been there before.
Awesome.
But it was
awesome.
like nearly 16, 17 years ago now. So it's quite a while.
Yeah. Awesome. When are you heading out there? When does fight week start for you?
I'm flying out on the Thursday, just the day before the weigh-ins. It's a 2-hour flight, and obviously it's not a big time difference. So I'd rather be at home on fight week, chilling out. To be honest, like it's just easier. Like have your normal bed, have your food, everything, just to be as normal. If it's not high altitude and it's not kind of like a huge time difference, then to my mind, I'd rather go as late as possible.
Okay, fantastic. And so far, how has camp been? Have you been in camp for long? Did you do a long camp or a bit of a shorter one? What's it been like so far for you?
Well, kind of. I never know what do people mean by camp anymore. It used to be, like people would go and they'd fly out to this gym or that gym and go and spend 6 weeks there or something. Or even before that, people just wouldn't or barely train, and then they'd train for 8 weeks, sort of thing before the fight. I kind of train all year round. And I had 2 of my teammates / students were fighting a few weeks ago, so I was helping them for their fights. So I've kind of been ticking over since my last fight. I've not really stopped. Kind of kept sort of treading water for a while, and then obviously upped it about 6 weeks ago. So yeah.
Yeah, so very, very much a lifestyle to you, as opposed to you do your camp and then you go and blow up inside like we see some fighters do.
Well, I get to eat what I want all year round, so it's not so much of a problem. Heavyweights, we, in spite of being, all of us are a bit fatter, we don't get as fat throughout the year. We sort of maintain our level of chunkiness.
Yeah, awesome. So you're coming up against John Winter. Have you made any specific changes during this camp? Obviously, without giving the game plan away, but have you kind of focused on anything in particular, or just kind of your normal as you would go through a camp?
Yeah, obviously, I think every fight you take, you kind of make some adjustments. He's a very big guy. I think he's about 6'6" ish. Big tall dude. Pretty athletic. and fairly well rounded. So like I'm fortunate. I've got several training partners who are that sort of height and that sort of size and frame. So it's actually slotting in quite nicely. I'm used to guys with big long reaches. Throwing lots of similar techniques, just getting those guys to emulate him a little bit. But a lot of it is business as usual. Like you kind of make certain specifics. It's more like the strategy and the tactics that I'm going to use for him, as opposed to I'm not going to be doing spinning wheel kicks or some sort of, something like that for this one. It's not.
Yeah, I hear you.
So yeah,
So on that side, when you're talking about strategy and tactics, he kind of had his say in a recent interview he did. I'll read you out the quote on saying about you. He said he posted on Instagram that he'll throw me on my head and pound me out. That's a weakness. That means that he's scared to fight standing up. So I know what he's going to do. When asked about how he saw the fight going, he said, I'll finish him in the first or second round on the feet or on the ground. So how do you respond to that? How do you feel about his comments there?
well, firstly, I really appreciate that he follows me. It's nice, like obviously I must be someone he looked up to, and that's nice. It feels good. But in all seriousness, literally, like, he's responding to a social media post. It's like, I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. It's obviously I'm in his head. I've not been on his Instagram even once. I'll tell you that for free. Like I leave, like I've watched the footage, but I'm not like, what are you gonna learn from an Instagram post? If I post, that I'm gonna take him down, maybe I post that I'm gonna take him down because I want to stand up, or maybe I say that I stand up because I want to take him down. Like people get like very stressed. That's more like, to me, that's what I see a lot of my young amateur students doing. They'll like obsessed with their opponents. They'll go on their Facebook and their Instagram and their TikTok. Oh my God, he did a 1, 2, 3. Oh, I saw him do a takedown. And it's like, come on, man, be a grown up, be a professional. Like we're not 15-year-olds. It is what it is. Like my record kind of speaks for itself. I have knockouts, I have submissions, I have ground and pound. One thing I can quite happily tell you is I'm not afraid to stand with John Winter. That's you can look at my record and there's wins, there's losses, but no one's going to say that I'm scared to strike with someone or scared to grapple with somebody else or whatever. It's whatever comes will come in the fight. I know what I want to do, and like I don't think he's going to get to choose what we do in this fight. I think I will be the person who decides. He's either going to try and take me down, and I'm going to be like, no, because I'm very difficult to take down, or I'm going to try and take him down, and I'll put him on his back. He won't be able to stop me taking him down if I choose to. But if I decide to keep it standing, if like I'm not just going to run across there 1 second and shoot a takedown. If I decide to keep it standing for the whole fight, if I'm comfortable on the feet and I feel my strikes landed, then yeah, I'm going to knock him out. It's kind of one of those ones. I get to pick what happens in this. I'm definitely the better wrestler, so it's a case of like, like, does he want to chance it? Like he's going to watch this, obviously. If he's watching my social media, I post this out, you post this out. He's going to be like, oh my God, he'd probably have a notepad and pen and take it to his coaches. He said he could beat me here and do this. Like, come on, who cares, man? Like it's punching and kicking at the end of the day and wrestling around. Like I've got a game plan. He's got a game plan. Honestly, I think he'll strike until he starts to panic, and then he'll shoot on me. And that's what I personally think. I think he'll think he can strike with me, realize he can't, shoot, it's going to fail, and then whatever will happen will happen. That's how I see things going. But, I'm kind of prepared for anything. I'm prepared for him to shoot straight away, try and surprise me. Like I'm prepared. Maybe it'd be difficult to take down. But if he's planning for the first round, what happens in heavyweights who plan for the first round? What happens in the second and the third round?
Yeah,
that
engine gets
I've won 5-round decision before. Like it's my gas tank is good. My gas tank is proven against Satoshi Ishii. Like he's a decent fighter. He's a good fighter. So it's like, like I know that whether it's the first round or the third round, like I'm good to go. Like I understand what he brings. He's a big, strong, athletic guy. He comes from a decent gym, like I respect him. But yeah, whatever.
That's great. That's great. I think one thing that definitely stands out from your fights is that you're extremely well rounded. And like you said, you can stuff the takedowns. You can go with them on the feet. You can even go on the ground, as we've seen with some of your submission victories. So it's really, like you said, wherever you want to take the fight and how you see it going. So how has it been? How do you feel fighting for Octagon MMA? This is your first fight with the promotion. How are you feeling in the lead up to heading out to Slovakia next week?
I'm really excited. So far, everything's been great. Octagon have been absolutely great. Like they were easy to deal with when I was talking contracts. That we're kind of on the same page in terms of where I want my career to progress. So yeah, like I'm really excited. And all I hear from people who've been out there and what I've seen, like on videos and stuff is like excited fan base there is out there. There's a lot of people out there who love fighting. They want to watch. There's going to be a big, it's going to be big crowds. So yeah, so it's exciting. It's nice to be a part of that. Like for me, the biggest thing that like not just surprised me, but like perturbed me a little bit is like I feel like sneaking me onto an undercard. I'm not sure why that's happened. Like, and not to. I mean, it is obviously like everyone's kind of full of themselves and thing, but I feel like I'm going to be there putting on a show. I think heavyweight fights, like a big couple of, we're both going to be 250 pounds. There's going to be 500 pounds, and we're going to be looking to finish, So it's, I think it's, if I had one criticism, it's that, sliding me on an undercard is not what I like. I'm looking to win this. I want to be in title contention this year, and yeah, so I'm gonna have to make, it exciting and make sure that people do see it.
Absolutely, this is a big fight. You're both very very skilled fighters and have a good following, especially yourself amongst the British fans. You fought a lot in the UK, also South Africa, and around Europe as well. So you would think you would be further up the card, but I'm absolutely sure you're going to put on a fantastic performance. What are your goals with the promotion? Should everything go well on the 29th in a perfect world? How you said you want to be in title contention. How do you see yourself matching up in the promotion, and how things could move forward for you?
Yeah, like obviously for me right now, I have one fight. As far as I'm concerned, there's one fight and there's nothing else. Assuming that goes well, then yeah, like I want to be fighting for the title this year. And I've already sort of, when I signed with them, I sort of spoke to them about like, it's going to be, I'm going to have a fairly quick route to the title. Like I'm not here to do 6 fights and fight and then fight for the belt. I want either my second or third fight to be for the belt. That's how I want to be. And like obviously I've got to play my part. I've got to win for a start. And if I look good winning, that's going to help. People are going to be excited. People are going to want to watch. So yeah. So I mean, perfect thing happening. Perfect thing. Ideal situation next weekend is getting the finish.
Yep.
Like finishing John, moving on from that. And then yeah, like I say, either the next one after this or the one after that being for the title contention. Obviously they're coming to the UK towards the end
Yep.
of the year in the autumn up in Manchester. So like whether I'm fighting for the belt then or whether I'm defending the belt, that's kind of what I've got, in my kind of head visualizing. That's where I want to be towards the end of the year. And yeah, so that should be exciting. I feel like I'm coming into the organization at a good time. They're really wanting to make big waves in the UK, and I want to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And also around Europe, they've got an event coming up in Germany also, and they're really looking to branch out and host more events over in Europe. So I think signing yourself is a big part of that, to reach out to the British crowd, especially with that card in Manchester, as you've mentioned. One thing I did pick up on social media from them and yourselves is that they posted kind of a get to know your fighters, and one little image from there that popped out to me was that you had won 7 fights before you'd even trained. Is that what's the story behind that?
Yeah, well, when like this was quite a long time ago in the sport, when I was think I was 17, 18. So like I had 7 fights. I didn't win them all.
Right. Yeah.
That's what started
Okay.
me training. Um, but yeah, essentially, like I competed at quite a high level in judo international.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, at judo, and I saw some. Me and one of my friends had some DVDs, and we watched some old UFC fights.
Hmm.
And I was just blown away by it. And within, I don't know, it was a year, 2 years, um, we kind of I found some sort of small amateur competition in the UK, and we, like I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna do it. I don't care, and just rocked up. Had some fights, did a couple of those, then went on the road up north, and got sat on my ass. But yeah, no, it was like I was just doing it for, and I kind of still am, like doing it for the love of the sport. It was just a great challenge to me. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Um, when I started, like there was no, even in the UFC, there was almost no money, like, and that
Hmm.
wasn't really even a thought at the time. And I don't know, it's kind of fun to have, like I had, as I say, 7 fights with just judo. I'd never thrown, never hit a bag, never punched a pad.
Hmm.
Um, just going in there, grappling people, and just having fun. And it still is like, obviously I obviously do train my striking now, and and all that, but it's um it's still just a fun thing for me to do. I've got to 34 and I've not had like a real job ever. I coach now, but I've never had like a 9 to 5 or a
Yeah.
office job or something, which I feel like I've kind of got away with murder there. um, but yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, yeah, you can see the energy and just in your nature that you enjoy what you do, and it is very much for the fun side of it. And you've mentioned your coaching a couple of times. I want to kind of touch on that, just to talk about your team and just what you kind of get out of coaching. What does it do for you personally? And is that kind of how you see your career going in the future?
Yeah, eventually, yeah, I could see myself. I feel like for me, it's a natural transition.
Hmm.
Um, I am not fighting because I desperately need to fight anymore. I'm fighting because I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
I still want to compete. I still feel like I'm relevant. Um, so like for me, fighting now is for fun and to see what like whatever what else I can achieve. And get out of it, because I've kind of like I've achieved most of the things I wanted to do by now, and like I've had a good career already. So like now it's just for like, what can I do? Who can I feel like I've got, as I say, I've got a few more scalps to take. Like
Mm.
I want to do a few more fun things in the sport. But in terms of coaching, I've already got, a handful of decent young athletes. I've got one lad, Mario Pinto, who's now 6-0 as a pro. Uh, he just won an 8-man one night tournament, 3 fights in one night,
Hmm.
over in Amsterdam. So he's doing amazing. He's got, he's knocking on the door of several big shows already.
Yeah.
Um, I've got a bunch of amateurs. I've got too many amateurs to name. So it's kind of an exciting thing. I've also worked in Lou Sutherland, who's in PFL. Um, and it's just like I've got guys already starting to get onto big shows. People are already catching me up, and they're gonna slowly, even in the training room, people are starting to knock me into irrelevancy. um, so like as they catch up, and I'm holding on desperately by my fingernails to keep them down, pulling out all the tricks in my book. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, like in quite a nice way, they're gonna physically force me to retire one day when I don't want to spar any of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, so no, it's good. It's good. Like I've got, like I say, I'm at Fight Zone London, and we've got a great team there. Like not just the MMA, but it's an absolutely huge gym.
Hmm.
And like the MMA team is just sort of growing day in day out, and we're building more people. I've got a few people who are going to be looking to fight in the IMAFs, either the regional IMAFs and hopefully international and world IMAFs this year. So it's really exciting. Like really, really exciting. I've got lots of fun opportunities in coaching. It's like it's another way for me to compete. It's another way,
Mhm.
I'm 34 now, and I know the big boys tend to last a bit longer, but I don't want to be like pushed out of the sport because I'm so old and broken that nobody will watch me anymore. I'd rather kind of leave with a bit of grace, like hopefully win the Octagon belt, defend it 3, 4, 5 times, then maybe say, oh, come on, guys, I think it's time to give my stick and my slippers and my blanket to sit over my knee,
Yeah.
and then let other people do the heavy lifting. But that might be 3, 4, 5 more years. Kind of, time will tell. But hopefully by that time, I'm already gonna have a stable of guys. I've already got
Yeah.
a bunch of guys who are either on, like on the cusp of doing good things already. We're already speaking to big shows about people's futures, and that's not just the pros; it's amateurs as well. I'm having international shows, ask about some of my
Mhm.
amateurs, and wanting them to be their debuts, on international shows, not just UK based. So it's
Yep.
quite cool. Things seem to be working. People seem to be responding to how we're training. Um, but it's like it's a different puzzle because kind of all the dumb shit that I've done, like they get to. I can just scream at them once and it ain't happening. Like
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of my best fights were inside of a gym, with no cameras and without. I've gone to war with some of the best guys in the world and had great times and had really a lot of fun doing it. But
Yeah.
then you look back on it and you think, oh my god, like the fights that I could have won or the other ones I could have, it's silly. But that's hindsight is 2020, and that's the entire point of me coaching is to just live vicariously through other people who
Yeah.
are going to be way better than me.
Yeah. I mean,
But
that's
yeah,
such
no,
a. I
it's
mean,
fun.
so you getting into the coaching, as we just discussed there, has that impacted on your fighting? Has it made you more analytical? Has it made you look at your training and your techniques a bit more? How's the impact been on your style?
Oh, definitely. The thing with coaching is you teach all your students your favorite weapons and your favorite techniques and skills and things, and then they work them out, and then they know how
Mm,
to defend them. So then
mm,
you have to learn how to, beat the defenses for what you are. And so in the last, it's strange. Like normally as athletes get later in their career, you kind of slow down. It's just a case of trying to keep up with people, trying to retain your athleticism, trying to maintain your technique. Whereas like in the last 2 years, um, I have got significantly better. Like
mm.
my progression now is more than the first 2 years. It's absolutely insane how much better I've got, and that's just as a result of having like a decent group around me. Obviously, like I work with a couple of coaches as well who really helped me a lot. Got Marcus Paul and Rowan Katsu, and
Mhm.
those guys have really like up my level. And then having a bunch of absolute monsters in the gym who are just not going to let me get away with any BS.
Yeah.
And as I say, they kind of like I teach them what I'm going to do, then I try and do it to them, and then obviously they're able to defend it. So then I have to work out something else to counter it. So yeah, so it really has like kind of forced me to systemize more, forced me to just generally up the level of everything, really.
Mhm.
Not only for myself, but like it's kind of had a knock-on effect of me expecting higher standards for them. And as their standards raise, then unfortunately mine have to as well, by necessity, to
Yeah.
not get battered every day.
Iron
But yeah,
sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. No, that's awesome. So, just to wrap up there, any kind of final message or final thoughts on the fight coming up on the 29th?
I don't know. Oh, I'm gonna come and get you, John. I don't know. Whatever. No, I just want to have fun. I just want to have a good performance out there. I want to go out there, have a good performance against a big, scary looking dude. Get the finish, ideally. Definitely get the win. And yeah, like introduce myself to the fans. He's an exciting fighter who's going to bring it. And I want the belt. I want the money. I want it all. I want it
Let's
all.
go. Let's go. Love that. Stuart Austin, on behalf of everyone at Combat Sports UK, thank you so much for your time and the best of luck in 10 days' time over in Slovakia. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.